It's BMG Radio. This week, BMG Radio is talking about BMG Radio. And, just movies, and I don't know, other stuff. Yeah. Let's get to it. And hi, I'm back. It's BMG Radio, and I know for some people, all like one of them who likes watching this, they want to see my smiling face. So let's see if we can do that. There we go. Hi, hey, how's it going, everybody? Yeah. So I've been away for like a month. I haven't done any of this stuff, and I'll tell you why. I've been lazy. I've been busy. I've been lazy. And I really just haven't felt like talking much about movies, which is weird because I do like talking about movies, and I have talked to some people about movies. I just haven't felt like doing this, but this isn't gone. It's just I've been away. I've been not listening, and my daughter just opened the door. What's up? Hey, would you like to be on BMG Radio?
You're doing it? Okay.
Yeah, like right now, like they can hear your voice. So the one viewer. So, anyways,
Who's the one viewer?
I have no clue.
Hello,
All right.
one viewer.
There you go. That was my youngest daughter's eye. Anyway, now there's two viewers. How nice. So what's been going on, people? All right, so let's talk about a few things. First off, Powers Boothe died. This kind of bummed me out a lot. I like Powers Boothe a lot. If you don't know who Powers Boothe is, I'm not gonna throw a picture up or anything, but Powers Boothe he was a really solid actor that had a really great voice. He did a lot of voice work. He was actually, I believe he was Gorilla Grodd in Justice League. He just had a great voice, but he was also in some amazing movies. Now, the first movie I ever saw him in, I believe, was called Rapid Fire, with Brendan, what's his name? Bruce Lee's kid, Brendan Lee. Where he's a cop and stuff, and like Brendan Lee. And I don't know. I've just ever since I was a teenager and saw him in that, I loved him. Like I thought he was a cool guy. He is phenomenally great in Tombstone as Curly Bill. If you haven't seen Tombstone, what do you do with your life? Tombstone is one of the best westerns ever, if not the best western ever, and that's saying a lot because I love westerns. And yeah, he was great as one of the main villains in that film. Powers just, I don't know. He had a thing about him. Like he had a voice, he had a presence, and he carried himself a certain way. It's just he did a lot of other great roles. He was in Deadwood, which he was awesome in that, and he was in the Last Sin City movie, which he was one of the stronger parts of that movie. Him and I believe Joseph Gordon-Levitt have a whole scene together, where that's probably the best part of that whole movie. But yeah, it's Powers Boothe dead. I'm not. I don't know. Like 2017 really hasn't been as bad as 2016 was for people dying that I think are talented and shouldn't be dead. But it's not cool that he died. I'm sorry. I feel bad for his family, and I think it's it's a loss that the film community. It's not something that I'm happy about. Not that I'm happy that people die anyways, but you know what I mean. It sucks that he died. So yeah, that happened today. What else has been going on? I'm gonna talk about Guardians because people have been like, Guardians, and we'll get to Guardians in a minute. So, other than that, I had a couple comment things to talk about, and I'm thinking of doing this more regularly, or even possibly even doing it a very shorter version of it daily, where I literally just talk about one thing a day for like 5 to 10 minutes. As weird as that may sound, I don't know. It's called vlogging. I just have never done it, and I don't know if I really want to, but we'll see. But I lost a viewer. Oh, it hurts. Yeah. So, what else is there? what's been going on. There's a lot of trailers been out lately. I haven't been able to go out and see movies that much lately. I did see Guardians. I saw it twice. Let's talk Guardians. People want to probably talk Guardians. Let's see if there's anybody in the chat. Nobody's in the chat, so it's okay. And yeah, if anyone does show up in the chat and they feel like chatting, I will chat them. So Guardians. Did I like Guardians is the question. Now, if you follow me on Letterboxd, you already know what score I gave it. And but if you don't, or if you're just like, oh, why did you give it that score? I gave Guardians a 3 out of 5. Now, that's not a bad score. 3 out of 5 means I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a good movie. That's what 3 out of 5 means for me. And I did. I actually enjoyed the movie. I thought it was beautiful, looked nice. Oh man, for a digital movie, and now it's not quite fair compared to Captain America and stuff because it's outer space, and like Ego has his own planet, which is made up of all this cool, beautiful looking, colorful stuff, right? Like it's a lot easier to make that stuff look beautiful than it is an airport scene, especially because they shoot on digital. So now this was the first one I believe that was shot on a digital red camera is what it's called. And I've heard from a few people that would know about this kind of stuff that it's red cameras are awesome, and that's cool. So they're now moving towards Marvel's moving towards using that. But so it'll be better when we can see a movie set in more of a real place that's not all green screened and prop sets. But it looked really nice. Okay, so the Guardians looked really nice. It was funny. There was many times that I was like, yeah, yeah. Like a couple laugh out loud moments. Drax was the one that made me laugh more than anyone else in this film. Dave Bautista's become an actor. Who freaking knew that was going to happen? Now, I'm not a wrestling guy. Once upon a time was, a very long time ago. But I'm not a wrestling guy. But I saw him wrestle years ago. And when I saw him start showing up in movies, I'm just like, oh, look, another wrestler. And the guy has some acting talent. And I've seen him do stuff like the Kickboxer Revenge movie and stuff where he plays the big bad guy and stuff like that. And like, sure, he looks intimidating. Like he's a big man. But no, as Drax, he was really funny. He really was. He had some really great comedic timing and stuff. And so he worked really well. Like the characters all worked fine. And it looks beautiful and the comedy was good. Yeah. And I'm going to get to the things I didn't like about the movie. Okay. The story. There were so many things that were just like there, inconveniences, and I don't know, like the beginning, I like and don't like at the same time. Baby Groot dancing around or around the battle, so you don't really see the battle for the most part. You just kind of see like what's going on in the background and like Star-Lord getting thrown and then Gamora flying backwards, and it's cool, but it kind of went on for too long as far as I was concerned. And Baby Groot is cute, but like I want to like that scene, other than Baby Groot, is incredibly unmemorable. That action scene is just it's there because they needed an action scene, but like there's nothing memorable about it. Dancing Groot was much more memorable than the actual scene, and that's kind of like it's not a great way to kick off your movie as far as I'm concerned. It's like, it was okay. And then you have the whole gold thing with the gold people with Rocket stealing the things. And I'll be honest, Nebula, the way they introduced Nebula in this movie felt incredibly lazy. It was just like, oh, we need her to be in the movie. Oh, she was stealing the batteries, which, why? But she was stealing the batteries, so we caught her, and then you did the job for us, and now you get to have what? It's just that was such a lazy way to introduce her into the movie. And like it just seemed like I could come up with like a better way right now, and I'm not going to because I'm just too lazy to go into detail. But it's pretty easy to like make her have a better way into it. And so I don't know. There's things like that. Sometimes the comedy went too far. I'm gonna say that. Like the Groot scene where he keeps on bringing stuff back to the cell went on for too long. And then the scene that went on way too long was the whole tape over the buttons scene, which just went on way too long and really de-escalated the whole thing. Like the story is interesting to some degree, but it gets really slow in the middle, and then when there's a big battle, they then slow it down again to do that whole tape gag, which again is cute, but it just was like, can we just get to the story? And it's just, so the comedy worked for most part a couple times. It kind of worked against it. Kurt Russell, freaking awesome. Like, he was great, and I love Kurt Russell. He's one of my favorite actors. I love seeing him as Ego and just like the way he talked and stuff. He was a very predictable villain. Like, you saw that coming a mile away, and sad. Like, they killed him. I don't think they actually had to kill him. Here's the thing, right? They crash into the planet, like rocket crashes in and knocks them down and stuff, and they all get in the spaceship. And instead of taking off and getting away and coming back later when they could possibly have a lot more people and help, they decided we'll go to the center of the planet and try and kill him now. But all they got to do is get Peter off the freaking planet. You get Star-Lord off the planet, can't use him as a battery to spread his seed across the universe. So all that crap that's happening at Dairy Queen, where it gets evaporated by that doesn't happen if Peter's not there. Take him out of the equation and fly off the planet. You could have had him chase them, maybe. I don't know. You could have done a lot more with that instead of have a big battle in the center of the thing and have the exploding brain thing and the Pac-Man thing, which was cute, but at the same time, kind of like a little bit anticlimactic. I do like when Star-Lord blasts the crap out of him when he realizes that he killed his mother and stuff. But overall, I like the film a lot, but not a ton. It's just, there's so many things I think it could have been done better. And I was talking to a few people about it, and like the one friend I have who thought it was great, and then when I started breaking it down for her, she goes, "Well, it's a placeholder movie. It's a filler movie." So you're admitting that it's not great, but you're complaining that I'm complaining that it's not great. She's like, "What do you expect? It's a filler movie. It's just they're trying to get to the next thing." And that's part of the problem with some Marvel movies is like they're all like setting up for the next film, but sometimes when they get to the next film, and that's setting up for the next. So it's like it did feel like they were basically doing a lot of setup for stuff that's going to pay up down the line. And I think it'd be nice if just have a really good film that has a little bit of setup in it, but you have a really great film. I don't know. So that's my one thought on that. Again, I gave Guardians 3 out of 5. Pushing out 0. So anyway, just give me 1 second, people. So how's everyone out there doing in internet land? Because yeah, I'm doing okay. I've been busy lately. I really have. I've been busy, and I've been sick, which sucks. And one of the reasons I haven't been watching that many movies. So, but I don't know. Doesn't really matter. All right. So I'm gonna get to. I had some good questions given to me. One really great question from Brian Lomax from Brian Lomax Movie Talk, which you probably know. Brian Lomax Movie Talk, if you watch my channel, because he's a friend of mine and he's a very talented reviewer, good guy, friend of mine. I've said that already. And let me just I'll pull up what he asked. And he asked a really interesting question. So let's see here. Where did it go? What's the problem when you. There we go. All right. So what the question he asked is, now I'll specify this to start. Me and Brian are both Christian men. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus and all that stuff that goes along with that. For most part, like I'm sure there's some things you're like, you believe in this, and I'll be like, no, where'd you get that? But for the most part, what the Bible says, I believe Brian believes. And there is a lot of religious iconography and thoughts and stuff in films and stuff. So what he kind of says is, do you think religious themes in movies put people off? Do they make people more critical? And that's a good question, because sometimes I think yes. Like we both hate movies like um, God's Not Dead. We hate, like I hate movies, and Brian hates movies where it's bad filmmaking to start, and then it's just Christians who are like, oh, we love Jesus, so we're gonna make films, and we're gonna tell people about Jesus, and we're gonna, and they make arguments like in God's Not Dead. I haven't even seen that fully. I've seen parts of it. They make an atheist professor fight against, like, not physically, but metaphorically fight, or theologically fight and fight about why God's not, like, real, why God is dead, and he's not a real thing. And they make him the lamest, most unprepared person ever in a debate. He basically has got nothing. And I know some atheists that are some very nice people that are incredibly smart and very thoughtful, and they've thought a fair bit about their anti-faith, if you want to say that, like about the fact that they believe there's no such thing as God, and what that means, and what that means to their worldview. And they're not nearly as dumb as this makes it out to be in that movie. So those movies in particular, I think, for Christians, like I have seen so many Christians who have told me that's like a great movie. When you ask them what's a great movie, and they'll be like, these are great movies. No, they're not. They're not great movies. I'm sorry, they're terrible movies. And again, movies are subjective. Yes, they are, but they're shit. They're terrible movies, and I say the word sincerely. Just because you love Jesus does not mean you can make a movie. It's like, if you're not good at making movies, and especially if you're bad at forcing your viewpoint down. Now, it all depends how it's presented. Like The Matrix is full of religion and full of spiritual concepts. Like Neo is Jesus. If you don't get that, he's Jesus. And that movie, I don't think, pushes people off of that. I haven't heard many people just go, well, I hate the fact that, no, there's a whole Messiah thing in that movie that people just kind of accept. No, I'm sure there's some people that didn't like it, and I'm sure there's some times that it comes up. It depends what people know going into a movie. Like you go into Silence, Scorsese's Silence, which I think is a brilliant film, and looks at faith in a sincere way, and how it's not perfect, and how Christians are far from perfect. If you go into that, think like not expecting to hear some stuff about God and Jesus, and you get upset about that, then that's on you, right? If you go into God's Not Dead thinking you're not going to get any of that, then that's probably on you, even though this movie sucked. Silence is, from my opinion, the best movie last year, as far as I've seen so far. But religion in film is a thing that can push people off. I've seen some great films that present what we would call the gospel, which is the good news, which is basically Jesus, that do it in a sincere way that doesn't push people off. I've also seen it done very preachily and very like heavy-handed. I've also seen it presented where it's just like kind of, this is what I believe, and like it's okay if you're not on board, or if you have questions, or if you doubt me, that's cool. I think it's all in, number one, how it's handled, and number two, the people watching it, where their viewpoint is. Like, I can't watch Silence as a man that doesn't already believe in Jesus, because I do. And so that colors the film for me, right? Like, so when certain things happen in the film, I'm looking at it from that perspective. Now I know some people that are not Christian and don't believe in Jesus at all, and it made them look at the film in a different way. And for some of them, it was just like, yeah, there was too much Jesus talk. But it's like, some of them, it was just like, they got it that was the story, and like, it's one of these things that's a very dynamic thing that pushes against each other, because how much can you say about a faith and feel about a faith if you don't have that faith? And would that just push you away more from that faith, or would that pique your interest and stuff? It totally depends on the film. I think more often than not, if Christianity is represented in film, it's either represented poorly, it's misrepresented, or if it's definitely done by Christians, they do a terrible job. A la God's Not Dead. There's a whole bunch of movies that are made by Kirk Cameron and all those people, and like they're clean family films, and that works for families. And I've watched most of them, and some of them aren't terrible, some of them are terrible, but like Christians just love going, oh look, I love seeing good Jesus stuff in films where it's like, that's a great film. And you ask them about films they've seen, So it's like Passion of the Christ is a very divisive film. There are people who hate that movie because of the Jesus stuff, and there's people who look at it differently, and I'm sure after the fact. So it depends. So I don't know. Religious stuff, I think it's how it's handled. I think stuff like The Matrix and Passion of the Christ and stuff like that, and Silence, where it's handled by real filmmakers and done not for sending a message in the same way that's ramming down someone's throat, as opposed to God's Not Dead and stuff like that. Those are films, like, they're made by real filmmakers, and they are there that are more than just about one thing. They're encompassing. They're a film. Where these other things, the film takes a way back seat to the message of listen to us and we know best and stuff like that. So I think a lot of the times, like, that will push people away. So, but again, it depends where you're at in your life and what you're filming and what you're feeling like, and what your experience with people from religious backgrounds are. Like, I know people who don't believe in God, or are just like, I don't know, because every person I've met I've met a bunch of people that were religious that were jerks, that were rude and racist and this and this. And because of that, I don't believe in God, or don't want to believe that there's a God because of that. So if you're coming at it from that perspective already, a film that, even if it's looking at it from a very realistic viewpoint where they're not trying to shove stuff down your throat, you're probably going to have that baggage. Everyone brings baggage to what they're watching. That's kind of what I'm saying. So I don't know if that answered your question, Brian. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. Do I think I'm more critical? Yeah, I think a film like Silence could make someone think. A film like Gods of the Dead would definitely make someone who's on the fence more critical, and probably it's called preaching to the choir. If you don't know, if you I've never heard that term. It's when you're telling Christians Christian stuff, and you made a Christian film for Christian people, and then you're telling Christian people Christian stuff. And so it's like you're telling people stuff that they already believe, and you're reaffirming them in their beliefs, but you're not reaching. I'm sure one or two people probably got reached because of that film, but on average, you're gonna probably push people away. So yeah, I think it would probably make people more critical. Those films, again, other films, not so much. The other question I had was from my friend Mark Bardot, Mark Eric Kanye Bardot. He's French, Canadian. All right, so the Teen Titans is getting a revived show, apparently live action, from what I understand, and they're kind of tied into the Arrow and the Flash, or at least I don't know if they're tying it in fully, or if it's going to be handled by the same people. And it looks like they're focusing on Nightwing, Dick Grayson's character, Nightwing. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about at all, we're talking DC turns into Nightwing. Robin starts out as Robin with Batman. If you don't know who Batman is, I can't help you here. But if Dick Grayson starts out as Robin and then moves on to being Nightwing. And they're doing a series, looks like, called Titans instead of Teen Titans, but they're going to be in their 20s, I guess. And it's going to be, as far as I can tell, live action, and it's going to be I'm not sure what network's carrying it. It looks like maybe the same one that does the Flash and all that. And it looks like they may even be doing a Nightwing film. Now, again, I don't know how that would work, because right now they don't tie anything from the TV side to the film side. That's completely different. And Marvel apparently is combining the two. Not that they have the Agent Carter was obviously part of, but like Agents of Shield for the most part doesn't touch too much crossover, but they're going to be apparently. I don't know. So, but DC did the opposite. They're like Arrow and Flash and Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow. Those are all DC shows. Don't have any impact on the film universe. They're two separate universes. And it makes certain sense because they never mentioned Batman. They never mentioned Batman or Superman for the most part. They mentioned Superman in the Supergirl universe, but they don't generally talk about it in most of the other ones. And they never mentioned Batman. And you'd think he would be mentioned and possibly show up occasionally because like stuff where the whole world's going to blow up, he would show up for because he's Batman. So he's talking about Nightwing, and do I think Nightwing will be a breakout character and possibly? I'll be honest, it's all depending how. If they do it the same way they do Arrow, then they probably will have at least a solid show on their hands. Like Arrow, I like Arrow. Arrow, the storyline that's currently going, I'm not a fan of, but the show itself is good. The characters, like the actors they got and stuff for the characters are decent. Flash, I really like. I think that they've done a better job with that than they have with Arrow even. And Legends is just fun and silliness, but I don't know. It depends how they handle it and what actors they get to play these characters. I have no clue who they would play. Like, if they want to tie everything in the film universe and make it crazy, then get Joseph Gordon-Levitt to play Nightwing. But that's not going to happen because Dark Knight Rises or whatever. You don't know. You know what I'm talking about if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'm not going to explain it. So handled right, and they get the right actors and the right production team in there. And they work on storylines that are like, decent. It could be really good. Teen Titans have been pretty solid lately. Like I haven't seen the new Judas Contract movie, but the cartoons have been decent. And I thought like it was just going to be a brand new cartoon, and I'd be fine with that. But apparently they're thinking live action. I don't know. So maybe it'd be great. Maybe it wouldn't. What else? Let's talk trailers for a minute. Have you seen the new Blade Runner trailer? Blade Runner, man. I am stoked for the Blade Runner movie officially. I'm officially stoked. Especially because like Guardians of the Galaxy was one of my top most anticipated movies of the year. And okay, I liked it, like I just said, but I was disappointed that it wasn't better. Like the first one was really good. Probably top 5 Marvel movies. And the second one's just is good. But it was like I was hoping for awesomeness. So saying that, there's been a bunch of trailers lately, and I don't know. Sorry, I just looked at something. I'm thinking that it's going to be Blade Runner I'm talking about here. It's going to be awesome. Denis Villeneuve, you got to put the V in the end of his name. French-Canadian. Represent. Although, like, I don't speak French at all, but, he's part of our country, my country, so I'll take him. He's made some great movies. Arrival, I think, is one of the best movies last year. Sicario was one of the best movies of that year. Prisoners was one of the best movies of that year. And if you haven't seen it, Enemy was trippy as hell. And then you got Incendies, which is a solid first movie. I think it was his first movie. And it's like, it's interesting and freaky and it's like, not freaky, but like twisty. And there's a moment where you go, oh! Like, I'm not kidding. Like near the end, you're just like, oh, So the man can make movies, and from what I saw in the trailer of Blade Runner 2049, whatever, it looks good. Harrison Ford's getting a little renaissance, I think. He's getting a little comeback where he's cool again, where it's like he'd gone away for a while, and now after Star Wars, now that he's dead, his character in Star Wars is dead, he's kind of getting a renaissance with people wanting him again. But it looks really good. It's the movie I never knew I wanted. I didn't necessarily want a Blade Runner. Oh, excuse me. Sequel, especially after like this long. But no, it's phenomenally great. From the trailer, I don't know. The film could suck, but I'm hoping. It's got me stoked. Um, I haven't seen Alien Covenant yet. For anyone who's like, have you seen Alien Covenant yet? And no, it's not out here yet. Number one, I know in England it's already out. All my English buddies are all like, oh, I've seen it, I've seen it, I've seen it. Good for you. I'm not watching any reviews for it until I've seen it myself because I want to get a fresh perspective. But I'm excited about it. And haven't seen King Arthur yet because I just haven't had a chance. So, what other trailers came out? I'm trying to remember what other trailers came out that were like, oh, Dunkirk. Yeah, I am so ready for that movie. Good cast too, like Cillian Murphy, Tom Hardy, Kenneth Branagh. It looks solid. And the guy who drives that boat, I can't remember what his name is. Mark Rylance, maybe? I don't know. I think that might be him. It looks like a very solid movie. It looks like it's my most anticipated movie this year. So if you haven't seen that, and yeah, nothing else for trailers. I don't think. Oh yeah, there's this. I'm trying to remember what it's called. There's a movie with Simon Pegg coming out, which has Robin Williams apparently in the movie as a voice, which made me think this might have been made like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and has been sitting on a shelf somewhere. But it's basically about a guy who gets all powerful powers, which is Simon Pegg's character, and he can do anything. Makes his dog talk, which is Robin Williams' character. And I'm trying to think what it's called. And if you know, you can put it in the chat or the comments. But hold on 1 second, people. I'm gonna see. I haven't even looked into the chat. Hold on. Uh-oh. I lost it. I'm sorry, people. So anyway, yeah, I don't think I saw anything else in trailers. Everything, I think it's called, or something like that. It looks funny. I'm really looking forward to seeing that because this is just Simon Pegg being funny. It's got the guys from Monty Python in it, which is kind of cool. Here we go. All right, so I apologize. I'm trying to do some control room stuff, and I can't figure out where I'm going. All right, so let me just stop talking for that. If you're in the chat, I can't access the chat for some reason. I don't know why. So let's talk about what I've seen lately, other than Guardians, because I saw Guardians twice, believe it or not. I saw it for work, and then I saw it the next day for taking my daughters to see it. So daughters and wife, so she can see it. They all liked it more than me, but it is funny. My one daughter gave it 4 out of 5, and then I asked her why, and I started pointing out things, and she went, "You know what? Maybe 3.5 out of 5." And I didn't want to talk her right over her score, but it is what it is. Oh, there we go. Hold on, I might be able to see if anyone's actually in the chat. You have the chat? Don't worry, I got the chat. It's okay.
Just got Baby Driver.
All right. Oh, Baby Driver. I've already talked about Baby Driver. Okay. Oh, there's the chat. See, look. Okay, yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Now this is like Inception because she's showing me myself.
Cast you.
Just go away. All right.
Cast you.
Thank you. All right.
I
So.
hear myself.
Oh, this is crazy. All right.
Ooh.
Shut the door.
Oh
All right.
God.
Please shut the door and walk away, child of mine. All right. There's the chat. Blue Corner says Ego is the planet. I'm going to catch up on the chat now. Spectre. Okay. Ego is the planet. Spectre. I don't get that. Did I see Patriot State? No, I haven't. I really want to. I'm very interested in seeing it. Favorite Tarantino movie from Dan Alf? Favorite or best? I'm gonna say Inglourious Bastards. I think is the best. Probably my favorite. I don't know, just so yeah. Best ranking goes Inglourious Bastards, Django, Pulp Fiction, Hateful Eight. What did that have? Kill Bill, Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown. Or maybe flip that, I think, actually. And then, of course, Death Proof last. Judas Contract isn't all that great from Blue Corner. Oh, here's the hoping. What do I think about the new It trailer? I think it's all right. I've never been a big fan of the original It, but here's the cool thing: that was shot 2 blocks away from my work. So apparently, a lot of people I know were like driving by the set and they got to see the kids and stuff. So yeah, it was setting really close. So yeah, my daughters want me to talk about Baby Driver. Baby Driver looks great. Edgar Wright is the man, and I'm excited to see anything that man does. That's what I'll say. Say anything. Oh, wait a minute. No, absolutely anything is the Simon Pegg movie. It's a 2015 movie. Well, we're just getting it now, apparently. So, and Blue Corner points out that Dave Bautista was in Spectre too. Yes, he was, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, but in Spectre, he gets yanked off a train at one point by a cord. Didn't you expect him to come back? Did you think that killed him? Because I didn't think that killed him, and he never came back unless I missed something. So, he seemed like a badass character, and then he just never came back. And I'm just like, where's that guy? He should be showing back up anytime now because there's no way that killed him, and he just never showed back up. So, yeah. All right, so that's what people have been saying in the chat. Now that I can have access to it, I don't know what was wrong. So, anyways, let me get back to my own thing. Talk about what I've been watching lately, and then we'll close it off. I'm gonna go with. I'm just gonna do this month. So, because I don't know, I'm not gonna go all back to last month. So I don't know what you guys, but I've been showing my family the Alfred Hitchcock movies. Every month, the very first movie we watch of the month is an Alfred Hitchcock movie. I have a really nice set and a few other loose movies and of his. I think I have, let's see, 20 Hitchcock movies. We've watched probably almost half of them. So we still have about 10 to go. And the first movie we watch every month is a Hitchcock movie. And we watched to start May. We watched The Trouble with Harry. Now, I didn't know anything about this. This is mostly a comedy, which is really interesting because although Hitchcock did have some aspects of comedy in some of his movies, this is like a dark comedy. It's about a guy who's dead and no one wants him basically, but the one guy's afraid he killed him, so he's going to bury him, but then they have to dig him back up and then they bury him again and then dig him back up. And it's you find out his wife was there, but she doesn't want him and she's happy he's dead. And, it's like this whole thing. It's Shirley MacLaine when she was really young and very, 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 very pretty. It's just, we didn't know anything about what it was about. We just watched it. And it's a very fun movie. I give it 3.5 beards out of 5. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. The Trouble with Harry. Next up, we got to watch John Wick, the first one. My daughters had never seen it. We got to show it to them. Man, that's a violent movie. And my daughters loved it because I'm a terrible parent. John you know John Wick. I know John Wick. I love John Wick. I think it's one of the best action movies of the last bunch of years. I love Keanu, and so that works on every level. Guardians I watched twice, so we'll just skip that. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Yeah, I bought this on Blu-ray a while back. My daughter's finally picked it, one of them, and this is a fun, stupid movie. It really is. It's silly. The ending is completely ridiculous. And then it just ends in a way like they kill a whole bunch of people, and then it acts like, well, that's it. We killed them, so we'll just move on with our lives, even though we'd still technically be hunted down by the government and killed. But no, we're just going to move on with our lives and continue on. I set up Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie as a couple, which apparently they're breaking up or broken up, which I find sad. But it's a fun, stupid movie. They're both fun in it. They both look good. They look good with each other. It's ridiculous and it's fun, but it's silly. I give it 2.5 beards out of 5. It's pretty dumb overall, but it's fun to watch. After that, we watched Magnum Force. We're going through all the Dirty Harry movies and basically all the Clint Eastwood movies we watched sooner or later. I'm picking them. We watched Magnum Force, which is the second Dirty Harry movie. It's a sequel to Dirty Harry, and it's good. It's not as good as Dirty Harry, but it's good and it's interesting. It's basically about these cops that are killing like bad people. Like they're just showing up to their car, pulling them over, and killing them. And Harry kind of has no problem with bad people dying. At the same time, he thinks there should be something like due process for most part, even though occasionally he's not done that himself. And so he actually adds guys because he wants to catch them and they want to kill them. It's a good movie. It hasn't aged particularly well for certain things, but it's still a good movie. Clint Eastwood, freaking awesome. Love Clint Eastwood. He is my favorite actor. Like literally, him and everyone else knows my favorite actor is Clint Eastwood, and I'm not going to tell you the other person because you already know it. So I give that 3.5 beards out of 5. It's again not as good as the original Dirty Harry, but it is enjoyable. Last two movies she watched for my daughter's birthday. She could watch any movie she wanted. She picked Hitman. Yes, that Hitman with Timothy Olyphant. And it's because I showed it to her a while ago, and she really wanted to show it to my other daughter and their friend for her birthday. And you know what? This is a solid video game movie. People seem to hate this movie, but it's actually a pretty solid video game movie. Sure. Sense. And sure, not everything makes sense, but it's not bad. It really isn't. Overall, it's pretty fun, and it's got Olga Kurylenko way. Olga Kurylenko. I like her. She's pretty, and she's a really good actress. Actually, like if you've seen her in Centurion, she can like really kick butt if she wants to. So, but Timothy Olyphant was really good in this. People seem to hate this movie, but I don't. I really don't. I think it's solid. And it if this had just been a movie and people didn't know it was associated with a video game, people would probably be a bit lighter on it. But because it's based on a video game, people are like, oh, it's kind of suck. I think this would be in my top 10 video game movies of all time. No, I'm not ranking it high. I give it 3 beards out of 5. It's cheesy in parts. It's unbelievable in lots of parts, but it's freaking cool. And Timothy Olyphant's pretty awesome. So, and again, or Olga Kurylenko. So, I give it 3 beards out of 5. Okay, and lastly, last night we watched Elysium. And I watched Elysium. I've only seen it once. I saw it in theaters, and I thought it was really good. I watched it again last night, and it's not as good as I remember it. Now, it's good. It's just a little. It's got some pacing issues. Okay, it's a good movie. The plot's interesting. The acting's decent, especially from Sharlto Copley. Sharlto Copley's great in that movie, and it looks good. Overall, it's a really good movie. It was Jodie Foster. Her acting wasn't good. Like Jodie Foster can act. Like I've seen her act. She's done great, but I don't know what she was doing. She had a terrible accent that made no sense. Like it just was like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your mouth? I don't understand. And her character was just so two-dimensionally stupid that it hurt the film overall. Um, and then it is funny because even my youngest daughter Zion, who was down here talking a couple minutes ago, could even point out the fact that the fight scene at the end between Matt Damon's character and Sharpton Copley's character was edited terribly. There are so many jump cuts that you can't even tell what's going on half the time. And it really took away from that fight because you're like, it looked like it was going to be awesome, but there's so many, it's like cuts over top, underneath, and just like all over the place where it's just like, it makes it really hard to actually tell what went on. And like it ends pretty much with like the character flipping over the other character. And when you look at it, you're like, how did he flip over him exactly? I don't even, what happened? How did he get there? I'm not, it's because they keep on cutting so fast. And that overall kind of took it away from me as being like, I had it as a Four-Beard movie. Watching it again, I gave it 3.5. It hasn't held up as well as I remember in the theater. Now, it's made by Neil Blomkamp. I think he's a very talented director. I think he obviously loves Sharpton Copley. And it's his second best film probably. Unlike CP, I don't love Chappie. I love Chappie, the robot. I don't hate the film, but I dislike a lot of the film. Mainly anything to do with the rapper people. Yeah. And like District 9 was his best movie, which was his first real movie. And again, Sharpton Copley rocked that too. But yeah, we watched that and I thought it was pretty decent. So that's what we've been watching lately. I don't know what we plan on watching. I'm going to be seeing Alien Covenant sometime this weekend. I'm going to be seeing Alien Covenant. Although I'm busy this weekend. I got a wedding to go to. I got my best friend's place to go to on like it's a holiday weekend. So Monday is a holiday in Canada. I can't remember why even, but it is. But so I get a long weekend. But because I'm going away, I don't get to won't get to see it then. So I think Friday night I'm going to see Alien Covenant regardless. I got to see King Arthur, partially because I want to, partially because my wife's like, Charlie Hunnam. Yeah. So, and I can understand that. So, but Alien Covenant, if you've seen it, don't be like, hey, don't even tell me. Don't tell me you're disappointed. Don't tell me you thought it was great. Let me experience it myself. I haven't even been watching. They keep on trying to show me trailers again. And I'm like, I don't want to see any more. I don't want to see another film, stock of film or digital screenshot or whatever. I've seen enough. I want to see the movie. So yeah, I think that's all I got for this week. So, look at this. My hair just went right up my nose. People problems, hashtag. And it's not even that long, but it's longer than most people's that are men. It's funny, a little while ago I went to a breakfast at my church for men, and I looked around the room and I was the only one with hair this long. Everyone else had short hair, and I'm just like, oh, I guess I'm that guy. Okay. So yeah. How have you guys been doing? Let me know. Let me see if there's anything in the chat that wanted to be talked about. Nope, nothing. The chat is officially done, basically. So, yeah. So that was all the questions and thoughts I got, comments and stuff. I will be doing more BMG Radio in the next little while, and I even maybe may do a daily thing, like a daily vlog, or a couple daily vlogs. I don't know, not a couple daily vlogs, but at least 3 or 4 times a week. But it'd be shorter than this. It'd just be like one topic, go, talk about it. What are your thoughts on that? I don't know. No one comments. It doesn't matter. So thank you for watching, for whoever stuck around. Thank you for watching after the fact. And yeah, let me know what you want me to talk about. And I'm going to get my closing music. I'm going to kill my camera. Watch. Oh. And my closing music from Tim from the Late Reviews, or he's changed his name. Not his name is still Tim, but you know, I can't remember what he's changed his channel name to, but it's like it's reviewed later or something like that. I don't know. But the man is brilliant, awesome, and fun, and he's just a nice guy overall. And he made this awesome song for me. So here's my outro music. Oh yeah, I just love it. I love it. Great. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you for talking with me in the chat. Let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about next week, next time, maybe days, maybe months. Who knows? Hopefully it won't be months. But, you know. And yeah. Until next time, stay bearded. And as always, YouTube Supply.